Hello, welcome to the New Meta episode 66. Today we're talking about the Rising Stars, a patch 7.23b, the free MMR heroes, the heroes that are on our watch list. Maybe a little under the radar when the notes first dropped, but now as it's been about how long has it been? 2 weeks?
No, not what, since 2-3?
A week and a half.
Week and a half, maybe?
Yeah, I think so. About a week and a half, yeah.
Thanksgiving happened. It's like 2 weeks, right?
I can't remember what day it dropped. Did it drop on a Thursday?
Wasn't it Tuesday?
Or was it Tuesday?
Yeah.
Oh, it was Tuesday.
Today's
right.
Thursday.
Yeah, so it's a week and a half.
Okay.
Confirmed. Glad we got to the bottom of that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, welcome to the pod, Marco.
Thank you.
How have your games been? Have you been? How are you feeling in Dotes?
I mean, games have been flying. I'm on 5 or 6 win streak. Unranked party games, obviously, but they've been getting smashed, and that is playing some decent stacks as well. I mean, you have played against some immortal stacks, pretty good. My hero puddle is a measly 2, consists of Void Spirit and Ricky. Not ashamed to admit that. KDA is doing pretty well, but it's a pretty sweaty puddle. Yeah, it's been sick. I mean, I'm spamming Void Spirit still. I'm not getting tired of that hero.
Yeah. Have you played a game in 7.23b where Void Spirit has gone unbanned and you haven't been spam clicking Void Spirit? Is that yet to occur?
There's yet to be a game in 7.23 full stop where I'm not sweating over both my mouse and laptop left click buttons.
Yeah. It's always a good event when on the occasion that I also want to play Void Spirit. That's always a touchy one.
Yeah. 42 KDA in a 30-minute game. That's the average Void Spirit game.
Void is a crazy hero. We'll come to him in a sec because we've got some follow up from the last couple eps, particularly the last ep because we spent ages talking about them, but they're constantly evolving. I feel like so we'll go back a little bit. But Adam, before we do, welcome. Also, how have you been finding Dotes? How's the patch been growing on you or not growing on you or whatnot?
This week I've played 6 games of Snapfire and 2 of Veno and 1 Crystal Maiden. So some old favorites and some new hotness.
Some hot cookies.
Yeah. I find it very comforting as someone from the South in the U.S. playing as a Southern accented grandma riding a lizard that throws cookies. Yeah.
All the regions covered, kind of. I don't know. The accents in Dota are so weird because they've got Bristleback's like some random Cockney East Ender, but then and Storm Spirit's like some. What's Storm Spirit's accent?
Who knows?
Who knows? It's not. Would you say it's a British accent, Marco, or like? Would you say it's like a posh English accent because it's kind of like
very flamboyant?
It's kind of like Americanized as well. I don't know.
It's like a Julio or something. Someone might speak in English, but with a flamboyant European twist.
Like a magician.
Yeah.
Like a ta-da.
With that level of enthusiasm.
My games have been going pretty well. I tried learning the new Viper, kind of. And when I say learning, I mean I watched one replay and played one game. But Viper's been such a hero of success for me, and now it's all this forget W. We're pressing Q, stacking it 5 times, and then attacking from a million range. Because there's a attack range talent. You build Dragonlance, and you can get that bow, the neutral item that increases your attack range. I had all 3 of those in my Viper game, and I was literally like sniper with the slowest projectiles ever.
Nice.
It's quite fun. I must say, it did. Obviously, I'm going for a difficult time at the moment in trying to reform my horrendously bigoted attitude towards carry players, but I must say, this this game again was another tough hurdle for me to swallow when
Oh my god.
our free farm Slark was like literally free farm Slark, who was like 0-0-1 at like 15 minutes in and didn't fight for outposts at 10 or 15 or bounties or anything. So I was like, okay, you better pull something out, and then goes Diffusal Ags, and then the game's just over before, like, he finishes Ags as the game is just kind of decided, and it's like, you have to, one of those games where it's like Slark's useless without a BKB. I mean, we've all seen those games. That was a frustrating one, but there you go. One day I'll get a carry with a positive KDA, and then I'll be bathing in the MMR. But until then, I just need to learn Viper more and more. The laning is absurdly good. When you play him with the Q build, it's like the old Viper where you just completely destroy a lane. But it doesn't scale as well as the W. Like, I still think building Greaves, you just win pubs for fun. So it's a bit weird to suddenly transition back into like Pike and Maelstrom and all that stuff. So, but yeah, Adam, how are you finding the sort of 3 big changes in 7.23, the couriers, the outposts, and the neutral items? Because I feel like in terms of approved, disapproved, neutral, I could apply each of those descriptions to each of those things, but I'm wondering which of those changes you're like most happy with, or any that you don't like or anything.
Outposts seem very snowbally. Like, if you don't trade them, you just lose out. It's a way of losing really quick, I guess. I've had 2 games now with techies on my team, and if you get a lead with the techies, one side of the entire map is mine, and they cannot get an outpost for the rest of the game, and then you just camp the other outpost.
Yeah.
And I had a game where I had a 90,000 experience lead.
What?
Yeah, which is the highest I've ever seen.
Yeah.
We were all level 25 plus now, and like they had a Slark that was level 14, maybe level 12.
Oof.
Yeah, he's level 14. They have a level 12 Bane, and we're 26, 25, 25, 23, 25. So 90k lead in a 35-minute game.
That's absurd.
Yeah, and like a 60k gold. But I like that. I like that you have to fight around another objective to fight around. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
And you can it's interesting that you have long TPs in on them, so it kind of incentivizes you going early boosted travel because you get the reduced cooldown on or reduced channeling on TPing in.
Yeah.
Couriers seem kind of like a meme to me. They just die all over the place. They're also slow early. I kind of almost wish it was the old courier system. And then what was the other change?
Neutral items.
Neutral items. I haven't been playing heroes that farm the jungle very much, so I haven't really picked up very many. But I think it's toned down. It hasn't seemed so gimmicky so far, because you do fill up on slots really fast, so you can't just stack all of these neutral items, and then they kind of get outscaled by normal items anyways, with the exception of some of the late game ones. But I haven't played a 70-minute game yet, so I haven't got to try it. But the shovel's great. There's a lot of early game quality of life items. I kind of wish they would remove Iron Talon though, because it seems useless.
Yeah, it's one of the worst ones for sure. It's who needs an Iron Talon at 7 minutes? It's
exactly.
This is so useless. Yeah, I feel so. The way I'd class the changes is outposts I actually don't like, couriers I do like, and neutral items I don't care. I'm neutral. I wouldn't mind seeing them go. I'm quite
still
happy
need
for
to see
stay.
some data, I guess.
Yeah. The outposts, it's the same as what I said last week or the week before, whatever. It just feels like a chore, and like you said, it's really snowbally. And it's this will change, but at the moment, you play 2 ranked games or something, or you just play a few pubs, and in one of them, all the team are like, oh my god, outposts are like the most important thing in the world. We have to fight over them, and it's great, and that happens. But in some pubs,
People
you'll have
ignore them.
Yeah, people just ignore them, and it's like you're at a massive disadvantage, and it's kind of it increases the randomness almost of how easy it is for win. You could extend that to all of Dota, because obviously having teammates that aren't team-minded is going to hurt you whether they're outposts or not. But the outpost just exacerbates that, and it feels like something you have to do rather than something I want to do, and the fights around it are often...
It's in the trees, so it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's just a bit weird and out of the way, and I'm yet to be sold.
Like flying vision and true sight.
Yeah.
So it's like some heroes are kind of just bad in the type of engagements if you already have the shrine. And then you have heroes like Snapfire that just rains hot death upon the outpost area from 3,000 range. Is like not even a problem for her.
I think it does hurt some of the harder farming heroes, I would have thought, or maybe not necessarily hurts them, because even a hero like, say, TB is a hard farmer, quote unquote, you can obviously plan to fight around an outpost and just use meta, and that's fine. But the play style is you have to be able to have a hero that can contest objectives 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then you need a team to play around that, and it's just a bit chorish. Couriers I do like, though, because it feels like if there's an extra level of micro and mindfulness as where your courier is. And I think you'll see pros and then after the pros trickle down into the general player base being way more mindful and more careful with couriers, and just keeping them out of harm's way, etc., because they're so easy to snipe at the moment. And I quite like that aspect, to be honest with you. I think that's like quite a cool thing to have happen. It's like it increases the sort of skill ceiling just a little bit, because, you know, if every courier was flying and invulnerable, that would be kind of boring.
Yeah, right now they just waddle in and die, though, is what happens in lane. They just waddle into the lane and you right click it and it's dead.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You've got to be careful. You've got to like get your courier like under the tower, like go back for it, sort of thing. Like, I think I'm happy for courier to be like a luxury thing. You can't expect your courier at level 1 to just like be able to deliver you an item while you're CSing creeps. Like, I kind of like the fact that it's something you've got to work around. But,
yeah, I mean, that's just what's happened with me, is that Snapfire gets the extra range, right, off of the little shredder. They just walk right up and you just pew pew, and there's it's dead. And then, I mean, it's nice that they scale the gold now. It's not like you lose a minute one courier and it's 1,000 gold to the team. I do like that it scales with time. But,
and also that it's not as punishing because they're not as dead as long, although you do obviously use passive gold.
They are so good that you do need some downside to them. So the fact that they can die and not just some turbo courier that makes the game too easy is good and is nice, and it's good that you are rewarded for being a better player that takes better care of the courier. That's nice. I do think it's a really nice addition to the game, because it's just like ease of gameplay is now better. You're not faffing contesting a courier with someone. It lets you get your items faster, so when you get your item, you can get your item. There's no bullshit that is slowing your game down, so your game pace is nicer and just more flow.
And it's like, the safety and ultimately the utility you get out of your courier is down to your own ability to micro it and keep it safe.
You can't blame anyone else for messing with it and things like that. That's really useful.
Yeah, I set my all-time record on Spirit Vessel timing, and I think that's all attributed to having your own courier. Otherwise, you'd never have gotten it out to yourself that fast. I got an 8-minute Spirit Vessel.
Jeez, is that too fast, or?
It was probably too fast.
Yeah.
It was Brown Boot, Spirit Vessel, Veno at 8 minutes. That's feels good.
Yikes. I would not want to go against that.
Man, it feels bad, though, as a support, if you get stuck on level 4, no flying courier for so long, just sitting there like 6-7 minutes in the game, level 4, just like, my courier's, it's coming. He's waddling.
Yeah. But neutral items, like I said, I don't really... I still think it's hard to gauge their impact, and I do think there are some heroes that can get some items where it's like really insanely strong and makes an impact. but maybe I just haven't seen those games yet. They haven't been in my games yet. And it's exactly like you said, Adam. Real items are better and outscale the neutral items, so it's not uncommon for you to just have, tons of neutral items sitting in the fountain. Certainly the lower tier ones, that's obvious, but I don't really know what to say about them. It's like, yeah, happy to have them in the game for a bit longer before I decide whether I like them or not.
Yeah, it's almost bad to get you got your tier 3 drops, right? And if they're all kind of settled or geared towards one hero, it's like they can't hold all that. So it's almost bad when that happens. Unless, sure. You had 7 or 8 slots instead of 6. So
that's the next big patch. 8 slots. That'd be
8 slots.
That'd be too much.
8 slots, 4 backpacks. Like LD has the most slots ever.
Yeah. Marco, the question I asked Adam and then answered was, out of the 3 big changes, couriers, neutral items, and outposts, was it a thumbs up, thumbs down, or neutral to each of those things, do you think, after a week? You already talked about couriers, obviously, for a bit. But... Yeah,
so courier is definitely a thumbs up. I don't see any downside to that. I think it's a very strong change. I don't think there's any downside, only upside. I think the outposts, you mentioned that you don't like them and that you're seeing them as a chore, kind of, because it's a bit of a necessity. I do think they are really important, as with most not most changes, but a lot of macro changes. It's hard to appreciate the level of importance when they're first implemented, but I think outposts are one where people slowly realizing, wait, these are absolutely crucial. I feel like if you have 2 outposts at 10 and 15 minutes, you can't lose the game.
Yeah,
I feel like the advantage 2 gives you is so crushing, like way more so than bounties, because in that early mid-game phase, the XP advantage growing on every hero on your team, it's so much more than like a 50, 100 gold.
That 15, 20, 25, those 3, is so snowbally.
Honestly, the stats, and if you could see the win rate of the team that controlled both outposts at 15, 20, 25, it's going to, naturally it's going to be very high, but I do feel like a lot of the factor of that win will come from this outpost control. So I do think they're very, very important. Do I think it's thumbs up, thumbs down? I think it would be slightly thumbs up, to be honest. I think it's cool to have another macro objective to fight around, and you might think it's a chore to have to be at your outpost and have to fight around them. To be honest, I feel like it's just taken attention away from the bounty runes a bit, because in the past it would be like, okay, the bounty rune is the objective at that 5-minute period, but now it's more so just the outpost is that objective because it's got the bounty rune and, more importantly, the outpost. So that aspect of the game hasn't really changed that much, I don't think. If anything, it's stretched the game even more because outposts are even further, like they're on the edges of the maps.
Yeah.
So it's stretching the game even more. I do like that you've got another strategic teleport position, because you can teleport to the outpost. That's quite cool. So I would give it overall thumbs up.
And then neutral items, how do you feel about them?
Hard to say, like in the middle. I can't really...
It's weird because it's like this biggest, huge change that was like, oh my god, what is this? And it feels like the least impactful out of the couriers, and certainly the outposts seem like the most impactful.
Yeah, definitely there doesn't seem to be that much impact from them. I know that you can have these wonky cases of some broken item on one certain hero being crazy strong, but I've not played enough games to come across those freak incidences of neutral items. I do think they're pretty fun and interesting and spice up the game that bit more, because it's like, oh, I've come across a neutral item in the woods. What does this do? Let's think about who this is strongest on. It's just more fun, I guess.
The fact that both teams get a set number of each tier, that balances out any potential craziness quite a lot, because they are all similar-ish in strength. There are some that are like really strong with the right lineup, and that's where you get these edge cases. But in most games, it's going to be roughly equal what the teams get out of the jungle.
You can always find someone who best utilizes whatever the neutral item is. So it's not like one team's got loads of useless ones and the other's got loads of great ones. Like, it is always going to be broadly pretty similar. And I think they're pretty fun, so I don't mind them. give it a middle thumb.
Yeah. Bit of follow up from last week's episode. First of all, the Discord was furious with our omission of ranged strength heroes.
I got some crow to eat, I guess.
Huskar and Snapfire. Phoenix and Io eat your heart out, yeah. I mean, Phoenix is kind of a forbidden hero in new meta, so I don't mind the fact that hero was just forgotten. Because I would quite like to... Well, I mean, I'd quite like to forget about that hero, to be honest.
That's harsh on really? Didn't know you had such strong feelings.
I hate playing against Phoenix is like sometimes like the most abusive thing ever. I hate playing against Phoenix. I'd rather play against Io, and that's an abusive hero. Yeah, Snapfire, true. Yeah,
takes care of the Phoenix. So
yeah, excellent against Phoenix.
Turns out there are 4 ranged melee strength ranged strength heroes.
DK in dragon form.
That's
technicality.
That's iffy. Yeah, 4.5. I saved myself though. I said, in the Discord, I said there are only 2 ranged strength heroes with hands. That's why I didn't realize.
It's a key distinction to make.
Saved yourself there. You're
and I still
embarrassed.
Think Snapfire still fills the niche that I was talking about in that she can be a range strength tanky zoner support. Phoenix doesn't really do that. She's not tanky, or the bird isn't tanky. And then Io is definitely not tanky. Can't really zone either.
Yeah, Phoenix can build tanky, to be fair.
Not in a lane, but yeah.
Not in a lane, yeah, you're right, not in a lane. Yeah. With that cleared up, though, Marco, do you have anything to say about your hero pod, half of your hero puddle, i.e. Void Spirit? Because I feel like you're our special Void Spirit correspondent.
Yeah, I'm happy to throw my 2 cents in. I feel like...
Yeah, go on. We'll try and make it, because we did do a whole episode.
Yeah, I'll keep it brief. So the key to success is simply play against bots a few times. Play against insane bots, and if you can beat insane bots with Void Spirit and just go crazy, you're probably using his spells right. You then take that to the real game. You're warmed up. You know the combos you may be doing. You're comfortable with all his spells. Execute, and it should be an easy win 7 out of 10 times. That's the premise. What I'd like to say is item builds I always thought was a contentious one. What I've been building is Kaya into Maelstrom and finishing those, often by, if the game's going well, 17 minutes, but it's probably more realistic to get it around 20, 21, 22. With those 2 items, you just fly in. I used to think, you can just nuke waves. That's so great because you've got that your W and your E, these 2 AoE spells. But actually, I feel like you want to hold those 2 spells for the fight as much as possible. I use the ult a lot more to farm and move around now. The level 20 talent about the ult cooldown going down, I love that. I now very strongly back that as a talent choice. I played him in the lane mid and kind of annoyingly played Monkey King 2 or 3 times, which was pretty dull, but I know you did as well, but it went fine. You've got a bit of ranged right click and you've got your E, which can help shove the wave into Monkey and help tank you up against him, such that once you get to 4, when you're level 5 and you've got 2-on-2, in my eyes, at level 5, if you catch Monkey with a Q and hit both your spells on him, he's nearly dead. If you hit 6, you can get a kill with 2 charges of your ult. So it's so fun having a hero where you can nearly any matchup get a kill at 6. Very, very strong. And then it's just, to me, the ultimate fun hero because it's so mobile. Just the game is just constant moving around the map, getting kills. I've not played a game where it's a struggle yet. But
interesting.
But that's because I've not played loads and loads of games.
We'll do a 1v1 mid. I'll do Meepo versus Void Spirit.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see how it goes. Yeah. But in terms of if the game's going well and you are able to get your key items, your 2 nulls, your bottle, and your phase boots, and you just start rotating. You can use it's just the ultimate mid-tempo hero, rotate into lanes, just getting kills. You can nuke waves in an instant. It's just so fun.
Yeah, I've played a chunk of Void Spirit as well, obviously, and the 2 points I'd underline is, like you say, Maelstrom. this item was overlooked.
I questioned it, yeah, but now I'm well behind it.
I'm with you as well. This item's super, super good. The build I've been going is similar. I've just been going Veil Maelstrom, but Kaya Maelstrom, seems really good as well. The other point I'd make is similar to what you were saying about how no matter what the matchup, like you've got kill threat at 6. Also, it feels, especially after playing the monkey matchup, which is probably the worst for Void Spirit, I think, it's so hard to completely shut down a Void Spirit because he has got high damage of Quelling Blade, obviously. So, and also you can CS with your E and your W like pretty well in the lane. So you're going to be able to get CS. It's not like some monkey, like a monkey Ember where it's like hard and you've got to try and CS with a W that's quite difficult, or monkey versus some of these other melee matchups where you can just completely shut them down. It feels like Void Spirit is going to get some farm no matter what the matchup is, because you've got 2 low cooldown nuke spells in Dissimulate and whatever the pulse is, Resonant Pulse. You can get last hits with those quite comfortably, and they're low enough mana that you can sustain pretty easily with mangoes in a bottle or whatever, So I think you're going to be fine. So yeah, that's the 2 things I'd add.
2 comments I'd make about Veil is, 1, I'm against it because I see over another button to click. But then 2, I do like the progression of Kaya building into either Kaya Yasha or Kaya Sanj if there's... Wait, do you ever get Sanj? I feel like I've got Sanj maybe once if I wanted to tank up a bit more. Or don't you get status resistance? Do you get status resistance?
You do.
Yeah, so I was thinking status resistance as well. Then, so that's one reason why I'm into the Kaya. But yeah, final point is just that it's such a fun hero that how you can initiate fights by you just jump right in, hit someone with your ult. What's really great about the ult is it's such a good slow, so you can use that for a setup for either your Q to then grab someone because they can't move away, or you can set up your W if you hit someone with your ult because they're too slow to move away from the portal spell. So you can like initiate a fight with that, you get your big E off in the middle of everyone, but then you can just bounce right back out and let your team follow up. So yeah, the elusive nature of this hero is so fun. I would honestly, genuinely recommend, if you wanted to play this hero, just to play against bots and learn to use your spells. After you've played against bots to learn fast hit, go into against bots to learn to use this guy's spells, and then jump into a real match and you'll just feel so much comfortable and flexible, and you've had like 100 practice to do all your combos. Yeah. Honestly, I found it genuinely so useful. I was in a LAN cafe in Manchester, in this like Chinese gaming cafe. I had 30 minutes to spur. I was like, let's throw out Void Spirit against bots. Honestly helps loads.
Also, because there's different ways to use his spells. It's not like it's not like a Lena where it's like, yours, Light Strike away, Dragon Slave, click, click, click. It's like you can initiate with a Q first, like quite long range, then follow up and like use that stun duration, or like you say, ult in, hit them with a W, ult in, hit them with a Q. Like there's options.
Ult out, learning the limitation of your ult and its distance, and because this hero, if you want to use its full potential, you got to play on the edge. If you want to play a really good Void Spirit, you're never dying, obviously, but you're in the fray as much as possible, and then using your spells to escape, using your spells to dodge other spells or just cause mayhem. And like you say, I think the Q is a good one to practice. Learning, I think if you're chasing someone and you want to cast it close to hero rather than make the Q cast far away so that it has to travel. There's like small things like that that do just come with practice.
Yeah. That's the Void Spirit update. Go ahead.
Just does your ult like proc Maelstrom on all the creeps?
Yes, okay. Multiple times.
So your ult right clicks everything you go through. So then you've got a chance. Okay. What is it? 25% chance to proc Maelstrom on every one of those.
I'm on the Maelstrom train then.
Yeah, and in the middle of fights, if you're slicing through creep waves on multiple heroes and you've got all this even more lightning procking around everyone, it does add a good amount of damage. And even just your own right clicking down neutrals and creeps, it does help. So yeah, really like Maelstrom.
Yeah, like I said, that's the Void Spirit update. I wonder for how many more weeks you'll be getting that little installment.
Ricky next week. I can love a Ricky.
Yeah.
What about the Snapfire update?
Yeah, go on.
Cookie Grandma.
What's your Snapfire update?
She's not as Giga OP as Void, but she's strong. That's all I gotta say. I
Okay.
played her offlane a couple times. That felt really cool.
I want to play her offlane and build
I
Greaves.
saw a Dota 2 Bowie video, and then you just get like a Bracer, and you get Greaves, and you get Sanj and Kaya, and you just do a lot of damage. I got a Spear Vessel one time. The other time I was 9-1 and 26, so it wasn't really a game. I went like Dagon 5. That was fun. But yeah, you just get like, you go QE, and you don't get the cookie if you're a 3, and you just can push waves really hard.
Build Greaves, win game. Is that?
Basically, build the Greaves, and then I don't necessarily like the Soul Ring. I know I had a Soul Ring quest, so that's why I build it on her, but I think Arcane Boots is all you need. Arcane Boots, and then, because if you're going to go Greaves anyways, it's overkill to get a Soul Ring too.
I think so, yeah.
But, man, Will Shredder is the sickest trading spell. And that you get all the trades, and they get none of the trades because they have no attack speed. So, if you're against a melee core, every time they come up to try and hit the range creep, you're just like, okay, you're going to take 6 auto attacks, and you're still not going to get the range creep because it's like you have level 4 enchant or level 4 untouchable on you.
Yeah,
like I guess that's different now. Level 1 untouchable because it's an ult now. Kappa.
Yeah.
LC and Grandma is like a lane that just never disappears. Swerve played that like 5 out of 6 games.
Yeah, I think that's another thing about Snapfire is in terms of how the Little Shredder spell is being used. It's like what Adam said, a lot of better players, Bottle Snapfire players, they won't just use Little Shredder to harass in the lane. They'll wait for the enemy to either try and hit them or hit a creep, and then they'll use it. Because then you get all of the benefits of just simple harass, and you deny them getting creeps or getting an effective trade or whatever.
Yeah, so, even at level 1, the cooldown's short enough that you have it up for every range creep. So
yeah, that's pretty annoying.
Pretty good. And then feels
good
like one of them. Yep, good against melees. One of the ultimate like outpost controllers, because you can just shoot the Mortimer's kisses from so far away. You can TP into a tier 1 and then still like be a part of the fight.
No, I like Snapfire. Both of these heroes have definitely got some more places to go before they're settled.
I think she's really good. She'd probably get her early game touched up, but I think she's completely balanced in the late game. Whereas I think Void Spirit is kind of just overpowered at every stage of the game, especially mid game.
Because I don't think you can change. You can't change his spells at this point. You can't just take away the fact he's so elusive and mobile. So what can you do? You're just going to nerf the impact he can have with those spells, and I think they are just going to get less powerful, maybe more cooldown even.
Yeah, there are a lot of games where just like I go from 100 to 0, and I just feel like I couldn't even cast a spell, couldn't really even do anything.
Oh, you couldn't
just
even
had to be like, oh, he focused me, so I'm dead now.
Yeah, and he can flash farm, he can be around the map. This guy's got everything.
Be interesting to see, although it will be classic Ice Frog. When in the patch that they go into captain's mode, they will be hammered for sure. That happens every single time. The hero always gets hammered just before it goes into captain's mode.
Get your MMR while you can. Isn't a Void Spirit at like a very high skill bracket?
Yeah, 60% win rate in pro level game. So pubs that include one pro player.
60% win rate?
Yeah, 30% pick rate as well. It's the highest pick rate hero and the highest win rate hero at the same time. So, yeah.
What's its win rate across the brackets?
I'm not sure.
That was like 57, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's like 54.
It's annoying that it's still so good. I don't want this guy getting touched up.
Oh, he's
in the shooting line. I need to get my MMR from it, but I'm not.
His win rate across all levels 54%. Yeah, 54. So that's all win rates across the whole of 7.23. And remember, at the start, 7.23 had low win rate when no one knew what
Yeah.
to do with him. So that's
As
not
people-
even point B or whatever.
As people get better at, button pressing and spell casting, he gets better.
Let's move, though, to some of these other rising stars of the patch. First hero, I don't know how long we'll spend on this guy, because it's kind of a very specialist hero. I don't know how much we can really contribute, but there's no doubt about it. Lone Druid is one of the up-and-coming heroes. Tons and tons of changes, like 1 million bullet points, was it? I can't remember. I remember Adam saying... 24, yeah. I remember when we were reading the patches, Adam was like, Lone Druid's got 24 bullet points of changes. I was like, okay, probably we'll come back to that one then. But yeah, lots of changes to Lone Druid. I think the big takeaways, or the sort of too long didn't read, is that the Spirit Bear is less tanky, but it has Entangle and Demolish and Return all available at level 1. So it's kind of... And True Form now makes him really tanky. He gains a ton of health on cast and a ton of armor.
Yeah, that's a bit of an understatement.
Yeah, so at level 3 True Form, he gets 1500 health and 20 armor.
With that 1500 health being a heal. So he actually gets the 1500, yeah. It's not like just a max health. It's like, no, you get a 1500 heal.
And also, Savage Roar cast on either the bear or the hero will do both. So that's a quality of life, as well as just being a buff, right? It's obviously just a buff to have it coming in 2 places rather than just once.
Yeah, it's slightly higher AoE. And then also when you go in the True Form as the hero bear, you can root and demolish.
Yeah.
So that's what... So Bulldog has put out basically a Lone Druid video a day since the patch. So there's a lot. I mean, that I've played against it a little bit, but I've mostly just watched him play it. And damn, you want to see like a Lone Druid bear and then the Druid himself just chain root a hero. That's crazy.
Yeah. Is it still Radiance Rush on the bear, and just is the playstyle the same, or are we getting success with Ranged Druid? Is it the same playstyle but it's just stronger, or is the hero like fundamentally different? Why is it suddenly good, do you think? Why has it suddenly got 13% increase in win rate?
I've seen him...
an insane increase.
I've seen him do the Radiance build, but now he goes Mask of Madness on the bear.
Interesting.
And so you just attack really fast, and you can root for level 1, so that's another... I mean, you don't have the Mask of Madness level 1, but one interesting thing is the bear is much less tanky because you can't buy Stout Shield, and even though it's a hero unit, it doesn't get the built-in damage block. So it's really, really not tanky until it's stacked with a bunch of items. So you got to be someone like Bulldog, can take advantage of having 2 bears, knows when they're resummon. It's not that big of a problem, but with what I guess Defender was an ability too that the Spirit Bear had. It might have been like natural damage block or something. He's like way less tanky, is what I'm trying to get at.
More of a glass cannon, really.
Yeah, really glass cannon.
Mask of Madness makes you less tanky, the active.
But then
reduces armor.
I feel like the change to Spirit Link's giving life steal now to the main hero from the Bear's attack. That I feel like has been a really nice change. Just in highlights of Bulldog clips, I feel like I've seen him very low on his main hero, and then because the Bear can output a lot of damage with Mask of Madness, it's healing his hero from 25% back up to 75%, and in a skirmish, that's a huge deal. And also,
and going into ult form to heal.
Then you've got the second heal from the ult. That's massive, obviously. And then even I think the Savage Roar, so when you use it, it now casts on both the Bear and the hero. That's like twice, nearly doubling the power of Savage Roar now that you're not having to choose which person's doing it. You've effectively made it twice as big an area and up to twice as useful, getting double Savage Roar off on multiple heroes. So that increases your safety, less vulnerable. So it's another big buff. So a lot of buffs.
Yeah. as a public service announcement, you guys have been playing Dota for longer than me. You've seen Lone Druid longer than me, although perhaps not by much, because this hero has such a low pick rate. How does Lone Druid like win a game of Dota? Like what? Because it's a very unique hero. What's the playstyle really of a Lone Druid? What are you trying to do in a game? Because I see some games and it feels like it's this split pushing bear thing. I see some games where it's like an unkillable Radiance bear, although not so unkillable now. And then I see other games where it's like this skirmisher, like turning up all the time, being a menace. I don't really know how this hero is meant to work. Like, how is this hero actually meant to work?
I think he was kind of like the original Death Ball hero. You would just get... I know, like, old Alliance, you would get the Radiance on the bear and the game would almost end because he naturally had, 2,700 HP, I think, at level 7 bear. Now the bear gets health based off of your hero level and it keeps scaling. But like Demolish is just very strong. It's kind of like a tiny tree against buildings, if not better. I think he's one of the fastest pushers. So he would just siege really hard and nobody could really deal with a bear with that much HP at that early into the game. And then you would just resummon and you could just kind of take out buildings really fast with everyone around you.
Bulldog has won like thousands of games where he picks up his Rady without getting a Midas, 13 minutes, and then just goes team, all right, let's just go get towers, and just bulldozes the game literally like that. And Alliance did that an awful lot as well. I think Silver is more than just that at the moment. I think sometimes he can be kind of like a bristleback in that he is most powerful when the team somewhat erroneously goes on him, but he's so tanky and he's got these fears and whatnot that he can outlive the attempt on his life, and then turn around the fight. Also, I feel like he can be played in a chaser kind of way, like you say, turning up to fights, or if you've got long drawn out fights, even without a Rady, this is a hero that very happily is fighting over a long geographic area and over a long time frame, because this guy's kit has no downtime. The bear is just constantly alive and fighting, so he can chase you across the whole map, and he's always going to do as much work as it can. It's not cooldown dependent. So I feel like a lot of games, it's one of these heroes that just joins in a skirmish and is kind of tempo because it's mobile and because it can fight anywhere and at any point. And then there's that split push idea. I think that's definitely less common and a bit more gimmicky to be like, I'm going to go for the Ag split push.
Is it a bit
or
more
just
gimmicky?
Have the Radiance and just have your bear be in the opposite lane and just Radiance burn down groups. That's the thing.
Yeah. Would you say it's a bit gimmicky, or not necessarily gimmicky, but maybe just straight up bad to play it as like a hard one, like farming a lot? Because I feel like in some pro games, there's just an AFK Lone Druid for like 25 minutes. That's quite a long time.
Yeah, I feel like I can think of those pro games as well where it's AFK. I feel like two playstyles could be one where it is like hard farming. It's going to look to be a tower muncher. Your team's just giving you space to get those items where you can mow down towers and be this split put threat. Or I think the playstyle is an aggressive 3 where you want to be in the enemy's face, like a bristleback. You want to be pressuring towers. You want the fight to try to come on you because you're naturally tanking. You want to turn it. But also you're an aggressive 3 in the sense that you can link up with your team pretty easily because you and your bear are movement speed fast. You can fight anywhere on the map and at any point. So aggressive in the sense of you can always skirmish if you've got like a Mask of Madness, say. So bit of a hybrid between those two playstyles, I feel.
And finally, would you recommend learning Lone Druid?
He's unlike anybody else. So, but I would say no, because he's probably going to get changed again. It's like he gets reworked, right? He gets good for a little bit, and then they nerf him down to the ground again. It's like Ranged Bear came up, started to be really good.
That was funny.
The Sniper Druid, yeah.
It was that cooldown, that respawn timer talent where he got like a minus 50 seconds respawn level 20. So his downtime was he'd die and be dead for about 20 seconds.
And you would use the bear would have no items, and you would just hope it got a root
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
and
you
use
just have
Savage Roar
some-
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
said-
a funny one.
One other thing about Lone Druid is that his ult now, when he goes into true form, like his bear persona or whatever, it gets demolished as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like double demolish on buildings. You can
although he lost the like Battle Trance spell, or whatever it's
Right.
called. Well, I can't remember what it was called. Was it called Battle Trance? You
Uh,
know the one
that's
I mean, the crazy demolish spell that they used to use. That used to only be available in bear form.
right.
Wasn't that what gave increased attack speed?
Yes, it gave. Yeah.
So now Spirit Link gives this passive attack speed bonus, so there's still a bit of that. But yeah, it's not as crazy as that spell used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, but two bears with demolish on them make short work of any buildings.
For sure. He's still big time tower hitter, that's for sure, for certain. I wonder how many of our listeners actually play Lone Druid, because I feel like LD is one of those heroes, you're either like a spammer or you just don't touch him ever.
What was
Nobody's
his win rate
a
change?
silver tier Lone Druid.
Yeah, there's no silver tiers, it's either like platinum or like level 1. The win rate change was up 13, but it was like the lowest win rate hero in Dota, so I have a feeling it was up from 40% to 53 or something.
Yeah, that's a dramatic increase.
Yeah, huge increase. Druid's one of those heroes I sometimes think about, like, oh, that's a cool hero. I'd like to learn that one day, but it's like, yeah, how many weird heroes do I really have time to learn? I already like buried my head in the sand learning Meepo for a while. I don't know if I'm be bothered to try and learn Lone Druid. Another hero to talk about, Tiny. For me, this hero is maybe the most insane hero at the moment, and I think it's one that people are starting to realise more. Like, even not only did it go under the radar kind of when the patch dropped, but then also the first week, and now it's like a first pick mid, and there's like nothing you can do, or first pick position 1. I played 2 games yesterday or the day before yesterday, I can't remember. 2 games in a row with a position 1 Tiny in both, and basically it's all down to this permanent tree grab, and the hero is just played completely differently. I don't know, I guess maybe I'll outline in case the listeners or you guys are unsure like what the new Tiny is, sort of thing. But basically, you pick Tiny, you have permanent tree grab, so you have the crazy high damage and cleave, and you basically just go like bracer, Hyperstone, literally, and just build towards an AC. But basically, just once you've got Hyperstone, you farm stupidly fast because you've got a stupid cleave. 2 bracers, you're a crazy strength hero with high strength gain. You've got really survivable. Obviously, you're low armor, but you're building towards an AC, so you get plate mail early anyway. And you don't build Blink ever. You don't build like mobility. You're just like, you build Daedalus, like say after your AC if you want to. But you're just kind of this unkillable beast with crazy, crazy damage, crazy farming ability.
You just stand and right click.
You cast Avalanche like as you waddle in, and then you just right click, yeah. So you kind of can still burst people because you're going to be in range for an Avalanche, right? If you're turning up to a fight anywhere, at an outpost or something, like if you can get Avalanche on a hero, you're still going to be able to toss them and hit them. And you clear waves in about 1 second with Hyperstone, and before that, you're just running around comboing stuff, and it just feels too good. It feels insanely, insanely good. That's basically the new Tiny. I don't know, for reference, for you guys, I saw Gork play a Tiny that kind of exemplifies why the hero's just a free win kind of first pick mid.
Level 10, you've got a 30 damage talent. Then you've got Grow giving you a bonus to attack damage. So, and then you've got Strength, naturally, Bracer. So I feel like I can imagine you're getting a lot of attack damage, and then you're amplifying it with the tree toss, and then you're getting the Hyperstone to counterbalance the slower attack speed. Does sound pretty potent.
Yeah, it's just an interesting change to the hero because you're not trying to get blink ever, and you're not trying to blow heroes like from out of vision, like the classic Tiny, blink reveal Tiny, like, oh my god, this hero is so strong, like maxed out spells. It's like, it's not that hero, it's now like a hard farmer, because you've got a cleave that's like actually insane, and it's permanently up.
It makes me think of Attack on Titans, so he's now just one of the Titans, where it's this massive monster boss mode hero that, like you say, doesn't need utility or mobility. Just build that 2k gold into a blink is now Sange, and you've got a lot more HP, damage, static resistance, etc. You're just building all these meathead items now and just walking in.
Yeah, although one thing I would say is that you mentioned that the 2k for blink is a Sange. It's like, it's kind of bizarre because you don't think of Hyperstone as like an item that's good. You think of it as a component of AC. But it genuinely just casual Hyperstone on this new Tiny with permanent tree toss actually just changes the hero. It's like the most insane component item, like casual component item on a hero that like I've ever seen. Tiny gets Hyperstone, and it's like bang bang bang, creep's dead, bang bang bang, camp's dead, next camp, bang bang bang, camp's dead. And it's like, it's literally like that. And it's almost more to farm than it is to fight. The hero is like the fastest farmer, it seems like, on the map with a Hyperstone. 1 2k item, and it's like a Sven with permanent Mask of Madness active and better cleave and better damage. It's kind of insane, and suddenly you're like a hyper farmer. That's why the hero that's why I've been seeing it position 1, and that's why it's been played position 1 a lot as well. And yeah, that's basically it. And then you use obviously that farm with the Hyperstone, turn it into an AC. That's a crazy sick item to have, especially early into the game. We all know what AC does, and then you can really go from there where you want. You can get SMY, you can get Daedalus, you can get BKB, these things, and you're just a carry. You're like a big beefy strength carry.
That already gets. You still get bonus damage against buildings.
Yes.
So not as much, but you're still like a good sieger.
Certainly, yeah, definitely. That's basically Tiny. I would urge people to maybe try and root out some replays of a POS 1 Tiny, or indeed a mid Tiny, because I've played one unranked with it, and that's it, and now I'm like, want to first pick it in ranked. Like, that's how confident I am that this hero just is so good. That's basically my 2 cents on Tiny as a rising star. So go out and check out. Beyond that, I don't know out of any other rising star heroes where we want to go. We'll do one other.
Venomancer.
Venomancer. Tell me about Veno. I have played this hero, but tell me.
The man of 55% win rate, and the man of
negative
heavily picked in pro scene.
The man with 2 bullet point changes in 7.23.
And yet they're huge.
Yeah.
Poison Sting now reduces regen by 30%. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
It's like, I bought 3 tangos and I walked out to lane. Oh no, I took 1 right click of Poison Sting. Now I have 2 tangos in my inventory. Like, my 3 tangos are now worth 2 tangos worth of regen, because Poison Sting makes them that much worse. It is just...
And it stacks. It's even worse than that. It stacks with... If you right-click them with your hero, and then get another right-click on them from one of your wards, both Poison Sting instances both reduce regen by 30%.
I think they're additive.
So it's 60%, right? Is that what you're saying?
I feel like it's 60.
I
don't want to be
quoted
on it.
The reason I say that is because if you get the meme is, if you right-click them with your hero, you right-click them with a ward, and you have Spirit Vessel active on them, they literally have negative regen. They actually have negative regen.
It's negative regen. I saw...
which is kind of a weird thing to think about, because that, to me, you think of that and you're like, oh, it's like damage over time, but it's like, no, it's damage over time and negative regen.
Yeah,
it's so weird.
Because, what is it? Spirit Vessel's 60%, I think, regen reduction. So that'd be like a 120 if they were additive, which so that would go into the negatives of regen. All I know is if you have a Dragon Knight with 50 regen per second, and you hit him with a Poison Sting, and you hit him with a Spirit Vessel, it goes down to 5. And that's not with like the extra Sting. So that's like 90% regen reduction just off the top. Everybody that wants to be a big tanky frontliner that can, stand around, you can't do that against Poison Sting because you just don't get the natural HP regen. You're a total menace in lane. And then, that's a huge buff. And then you just get to do the normal Veno things. And you start in the off lane, you take the safe lane tower, you take over their jungle. Now you get rewarded because you jungle safely from your wards. You see them when they're coming, but you also are able to take their farm on the map and get neutral item drops. And you kind of just go from there. And then I do think you go Spirit Vessel first. You go like Spirit Vessel, Boots of Travel. That means you can always be on one side of the map, shoving the wave in really hard, always keeping that outpost safe, and then you just bots down to the other lane at the 10-minute or every 5-minute mark to fight for the other shrine. I keep calling the shrine. Keep calling for the other outpost, and then you just shove that wave in. It's really solid. And then the other thing that I guess we haven't really talked about is heroes are higher level in general because of the outposts. As long as you get the outposts, your general low line XPM is going to be higher, which means Veno hits level 10 90 GPM talent way faster now. You don't have to be alive to get the outpost XP. So heroes that need levels are better now because you just get the XP so much faster. So you get to actually come online faster, and the faster you hit 90 GPM, you just snowball.
Yeah, I think the other thing I love about Veno is it's a flexible hero. It's such a flexible hero. It's not really relevant to ranked matchmaking anymore, but in unranked and in pro games, obviously, it has that flex factor. That's nice in the role that it's going to play. I suppose it has that deception factor in ranked. If you see an early Veno pick coming out, you're actually not really sure what position it could be. It literally could probably be 2 through 5. And obviously POS 1 Veno, it's not really a pub thing, but I've seen plenty of POS 1 Venos in pro games. So you could theoretically, you could say it could be any position. That's really nice. And then builds, I really like the Boots of Travel, like you said. You can also go Greaves as well. They're like the two boot choices that you have, Greaves or Boots of Travel, both very strong. You can go damagey with like a Veil. You can go Spirit Vessel. You can go Atos. You've got lots of options. Pipe, obviously. Ags you see come out quite often. There's a lot of options, and that's only can be a good thing in pub games. So Veno's just got a lot of things going for the hero right now.
Yeah, but man, lane against that with the Poison Sting.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
I love that.
I did I had a ogre. I was Veno with an ogre, and I was laning against Luna Io, and it was like one of the funnest lanes ever. It's just like kills forever. They literally show up, and you just run them down. You've got like an unkillable ogre, and the most annoying damage over time, Poison Sting, reducing IO regen, which reduces the regen against, just like everything. Oh, you get one Gale, and you just run down a hero for free, and there's nothing they can do.
Yeah.
I love Veno with aggressive laners like Ogre. And at the same time, Veno is another hero that kind of... I don't know, would you say Veno's vulnerable in a weak lane? Because hero doesn't really have any escapes. It can sort of use Gale and then try and run away.
Yeah, if they go on you, you can be dead. But that's where your wards come in and give you vision to kind of scuttle away. But if so I think of it as if you're in the enemy jungle, jungling away, one hero can't ever kill you unless it's Void Spirit. And then, so like they have to bringing out like 4 heroes to wade through all the wards and stuff to kill you. But if that's the case, I mean, you've already shoved the wave to their tier 2, and they have 4 heroes up top now, and everyone else is fine, and you're getting passive GPM off the talent. So it's okay. And I played a game against Draskell on stream, and that was it was one of those things where I was like, noticed one of his party members' names and like, am I playing against Draskell? And like, yeah, there it is. Overwolf confirms. And they had an Enigma on their team. So I went back and watched the VOD, and he did in fact complain about Veno wards making it to where he couldn't blink. And it's like, it's everything I want to hear. It's just like, why didn't you black hole there? It's like, I couldn't blink. Veno wards. It's just
nice.
It's the best. But they had a Magnus too, and Magnus doesn't need a blink anymore. He just goes Ags.
Oh, that's a hero we haven't even touched on. Magnus. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Maybe next week.
Magnus, more like Gagnus.
Spagnus.
Yeah.
Oh.
That needs to be changed. I hate that.
Yeah, it's so dumb. It's unbelievable. I'm also can't be bothered with like the daily Reddit posts of like a new replay of someone getting fountained or whatever.
Even with the Morphling eggs.
Yeah, it's so stupid. Marco, Venomancer, do you remember this hero?
Yeah, I'm just thinking how Adam's preferences of heroes is so different to mine. I'm just thinking about the 300 movement speed Veno just waddling slowly across my screen. Like, what?
Veno's in your top half of heroes, right? I feel like I've seen you play a few. I've seen you play a few Venos over the years.
It's only because I would play him and demand that I can farm the creeps in the lane. Any hero that I can farm in the lane and get priority would be in the top half. You know what I mean? Like Wyvern 1, Veno 1. It's the same thing. So I don't have as much love for this guy.
Yeah, Marco's just like, I want to play the Flash. I want to play Puck. I want to play Void Spirit. I want to jump all over the map, do all this stuff. I'm like, I want to sacrifice your creep, and I get XP advantage because I've denied you something, or I have hit you with this damage over time spell, and you have to leave the lane, and I get this war of attrition incremental advantage. I want to make your game not fun.
Can you imagine the pod without Adam? It would just be me and Marco, like two hardcore core players, just like never, just like exactly, just talking about Void Spirit for 20 episodes and like never mentioning a support hero. It would be untenable. It would be like just this
flaming CM players being like, "Oh, CM, everyone sucks. You pick CM. Just give me your aura, like all this DJing kind of stuff." Need Adam to balance it out.
We'd be like, how many heroes are there in the game now with these 2 additions? What, 50? 60? Something like that? I don't know. Only heroes that hit creeps, it counted.
We can take a moment though to stand back and appreciate the complexity and depth versus Dota 2. You think about all those unique kind of abilities or play styles or mechanics that all the different heroes have, like take your mana or flash around or control creeps or chase people down. So many different like unique things that people could like.
Yeah, and Warlock.
Throwing golems.
All these interesting things, and then Warlock.
So people that actually
Warlock's in the game too.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing.
I know someone that's a level 25 Warlock, and
that is man.
That's actually incredible. Imagine being a 25 Warlock. Imagine coming home from work and wanting to play Warlock.
Turn the brain off.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's kind of Veno. This is another hero that is just one you have to try to like really like. I'm not a Veno player at all, but that lane was one of the most fun sort of Dota experiences ever because it was just a joke almost. Like it's just so delightful being able to gale a hero, and it's so funny, you know, when you're in a lane that you're crushing, and you can like sense the people, your enemies in the lane, feeling like they have to get something from the lane, and so like just poking forward. Like I can't just watch them deny all my creeps. Like I have to try and go forward and right clicking, but simultaneously they know that if they try, they will just die. And you know, so that maybe they'll let a couple of creeps go, and then they'll get impatient and they'll come forward, like stutter forward and try and get one, and you kill them, and it's just like, my goodness, it's like you almost expect them to abandon because it's just that stupid. Yeah, so Veno is a fun one. And like you say, this hero can be built in lots of different ways, so it's versatile and worth trying. We've only really talked about 3 rising stars. There are plenty more, certainly. We had lined up Ursa, lined up Puck, although those 2 heroes are kind of self-explanatory. It's like, why is Ursa and Puck better? Well, Ursa's Q now makes into a front flip. Yeah, it's like a mini blink. You can go up cliffs, and it's basically the same with Puck's W. That's basically it. And those 2
new movement spells. Yeah.
Movement spells combined with the fact that with outposts and all these objectives always, and snowbally nature of the patch, it's definitely a snowbally 5-mana kind of patch. Having heroes that have constant uptime like Puck and Ursa is really good. You know, Dreamcore is a low cooldown for what it provides, and obviously Ursa is Ursa. He's monster, just fight. So those heroes, that's kind of all we'd really discuss beyond going into items and stuff. Who knows, maybe we'll touch on them next week, and then obviously Magnus, Mr. 0 seconds, free skewer forever. We only even want to go there, but we could, again, next week perhaps. Join us again after another week of further exploring Outlanders, and until then, have a good one.
Yeah, maybe next time we'll have a quiz on, like, can you name 10 of the 56 new items?
Yeah, that's a good quiz, to be fair. I'd be interested to see
do?
how many I can name. I don't know.
What does this item do? Like,